Thank you very much, Jacob. Yep, first game of the day about to come up, Tim. It's been, God, it feels like forever since we cast together now, but it really hasn't been that long when you think about it. The best part of, what, a week and a half or so? And we're back and good to go. But the region itself, I mean, we haven't been here for the last 2 or 3 weeks. We were here the first weekend, then we've let others take over, and now here we are at our penultimate play day.
I know, it's absolutely rattled through, hasn't it? You know, we're going to be into playoffs before we know it, and this is the bit that I love of every stage. You just really get into the decisions. You get into teams making it, teams not making it. So the stakes for this one, as we've said, Los already can't get into that top 6. ENX can, but not directly with a win here. A win here will take them up to 7th place and 2 points behind Black Dragons. So they're still going to be reliant on kind of other results going their way. But it's like I always say, you can only win your own games. You've got to let the rest take care of itself. And ENX, they need to come away with 3 points on this one.
Absolutely agree. I mean, as you've already heard from the death saying, for loss, there's nothing to fight for here. You could say it's a lost cause. Absolutely. God, we are so insufferable. We'll talk about the bans for a second here as well. We've had the Thermite ban come on through. An interesting one looking at, because we've said this about teams in the past and we've cast them across various regions. If a team struggles to get together the basics on the attack, the best thing you can do is take away some of those necessary tools like heart breachers and just watch them flail.
Yeah, I think that's what you do if you're lost. You just come in and just make life as difficult as you can, really. Just be a complete and utter nuisance. You know, we've seen them now take away the Thermite, take away the Blackbeard, just take away those operators that you know that teams are, in Blackbeard's case, going to abuse, in Thermite's case, going to be essential. And look at this, straight away, absolutely beautiful peak, takes down Sexy Cake. That's going to be your Yingon.
It's not a
good start for ENX.
It is not. You're right. That Ying being the one that's gone. I mean, it's less about the operator in this case, and truthfully, it is Sexy Kate, because as we've heard the death speak about, and speaking to Fresh earlier, you know what his thoughts have been over the last few weeks as he's worked most of these days. That Sexy Cake has kind of been the guy for them, the point man, and he is surrounded by these other players, so I've got a bit of experience, but maybe not quite to the level that he's got. We know how much of a story player that he is, and I think him being offline is what's going to sting. Only real upside here, of course, is he can now sit and be that intel or the shot caller for his team as they try and make something happen, but they're already getting absolutely crumbled on here. Not quite sure why Legacy fancying himself out of a window. And in fact, no, it was Kurtz who was trying to jump out of a window. There's a swing coming in from Farius as well, out towards the side window, and that's that south balcony shut down. So, despite what I said, the jump out looking a little bit weird, I actually think it was pretty good from Lost. 3 players all springing out at once, and it's absolute chaos in the ENX camp. They can get nothing going in this round. A nice first round win here for ENX. Lost, sorry.
Yep. Great start. Great start. Gets them something going at least. Like you say, Loss, that's just what they're going to try to do every single round. It's just make a nuisance of himself. We're going to see those spawn peaks. And the thing is, ENX should be ready. Sexy Cake's been around this. You know, the other players have got experience, but Sexy Cake's been around this for a long, long time. He should know that coming in here, they're just going to be looking out of every window. They're just going to be an absolute nightmare. It's going to be like playing with a wasp in the room. So, yeah, they need to be more prepared for that is the top and bottom of it. They can't be giving away these attacking rounds. They could have this effectively won in the first half, really. Get themselves a really good 4-2 on the attack. And ENX are going into the second half absolutely laughing because we know that Los have been really poor on the attack. So, yeah, get your rounds in now and force them to do it in the second half. And, you know, you've gone a long way, but they've just given one away to kick things off. Not a good start for ENX, and we move on. They're going to be attacking CCTV and Cash this time.
Like I say, steady on. I mean, you and I have had a recent experience in a couple of cases, a few games actually, over in EML, where we were like, oh, 5-1, like they're playing out of their skins. Think about G2 versus Virtus Pro being the great example. It seemed like G2 were out of that game when they were 5-1 down the first half, but managed to bring it back and win in overtime. After seeing games like that, you just don't know what's going to happen in either half of the game. Like, it could be an outright domination here from Loss. ENX come back and dole out the same when they're on defense. And then before you know it, we're talking about overtime. That's the kind of madness that we could yet step into. Of course, still a long way to go, so nothing to really talk to us right home about just yet. But I'm kind of at the point now where I no longer feel safe saying, oh, yeah, they could easily take this in the first half. I'm like, nah, they couldn't.
Let's get into it then. Us are going to be looking to prevent them getting access into Warehouse particularly. And you can see they've already got the mirror window. That's going to be opened up. It's not going to stop that Selma charge detonating. That's going to force that. To be honest, that does the job. It's nice if you can get the wall open completely, but you don't really need to if you're ENX. So long as you've got that line of sight, so you can play somebody on rappel. What's going to happen now is Los as defenders aren't going to play in CCTV. So the breach has done its job. So ENX can just play somebody on the rappel, watch cash door, which is you want to stop this as army bouncing back and forward into CCTV. You want that line of sight so they know that there's danger there, and then you can start thinking about where else you take it. Looks like they're stacking up for a heavy construction-sided push. They are going to have a problem on doing this, though, and it's going to be a big clash-shaped problem.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot here to slow them down, right? Looking in towards the mirror, in towards the clash, as you say, also in towards that castle, the keeper barriers, lots of constructions they've got to try and work their way through. And this is lost, I think, acknowledging that ENX aren't going to be particularly quick. It can be a good way to waste a bit of time. My main concern is already, as you've seen, they're starting to ask those questions of what's going on inside the site here. Maybe bit up a little bit more than they can chew here on the side of Loss. Sure enough, a second kill comes on through. A 5v3, and I was about to say, surely Loss have got to spring into action. They were so active on the defense last time round, but Sexy Cake does his thing, Tim. 2 kills come out. It's a 4 versus 1. Legacy with it all to do, and half a round still to play. This is not how I saw this round playing out, because that composition really wants to play a little bit more slow, wants to play behind its utility, but instead they're going out and around the map trying to contest. They're not reinforcing off basic walls like this. It feels a bit much from Loss.
Yeah, way better round from ENX. Just went in and took advantage of every opportunity they were offered, really. Like you say, you know, certain walls not being reinforced, Lost kind of trying different things. They just isolated them, picked them apart, and did really well. Lost need to take a lesson from that. If they want to play spoiler here, if they want to make ENX's life difficult, that's what they should do. And by playing behind reinforcements, by getting the traps out, by slowing the rounds down, that's how they're going to achieve that. You know, sort of throwing a dice and saying, yeah, we'll give this a go. I get it. It doesn't really matter too much to them. It's a good opportunity for Los. You know, sometimes we look at these situations and I think this is a great opportunity for Los. You've got your scrims, but scrims are scrims. We're in an official game here. You're going to get a different performance out of teams against you, so it's a good opportunity, if you know that you can't get into the playoffs, to actually try some stuff, possibly, and say, you know what? We're going to come in here and we're going to see if this does work in, you know, the clear light of day, you know, outside of a scrim. So I don't blame us for giving it a whirl. But yeah, if they want to steal a few more rounds and make a game of it, I think rather than trying to, you know, go for the sort of pocket plays and trying to confuse the ENX, they're just going to get run over more than likely from an ENX that know that they need 3 points here. I think it's a case of slow them down, you know, give them a good roam to clear, give them traps to play through and make life difficult.
And don't get me wrong, a lot of it was on Sexy Cake's 2K in the mid-round that really set that round up for a win for ENX. I think outside of that, maybe actually the more aggressive strategy works out. And look at this, Tim. Speaking about aggression, they're trying to go in nice and fast here. Maybe bypass Legacy. Let's bit them in the backside a little bit here. But they're in and trying to look themselves to go for a plant. Already being shot the whole way through. There's Sexy Cake with a nice shot on towards Legacy after he just about found out Ages on the step through. So we're into a 4 versus 3 here for the defenders, making a 4v2. It feels like Loss has staved off that aggression, Tim. But it wasn't without merit, to be fair. ENX have tried something here. They've just been hard shut down by that clash shield that slowed them down the entire way through.
Yeah, Los were ready for it. I'm fully expecting to see a clash ban come in from ENX after this round, to be honest. That round 4 ban, I think, will be taking away the shield because Los have been putting it, at least in this round, to good use, and you just know that they're going to keep abusing it if it's left on their side. And having taken away the electrification and denial already, ENX do have the freedom to do that. But 2 versus 4, 1 minute 30. Time is on their side at least. They need to get the next kill. That's the top and bottom of it, whichever, you know, where this shakes down. If ENX want to win, it's going to start with getting this next kill and getting back to 2 versus 3. Praying that they don't get droned here, but Kurtz will be drawn. Going to relocate, but they know he's there now. There is no excuses for ENX to walk into him. No,
that is crazy.
Too easy.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was taking a massive risk in charging his way across the front door then. I was like, you know they're nearby. Like, we're over halfway through the round. Of course they're going to be nearby. Could have lost his life for free there, but no, managed to slip that net. They had no idea what was going on, and he's got himself a freebie there. Florio's got it all to do, and I just don't think in a 1 versus 4, as we saw last round, it's going to be recoverable unless he can hit 3 more shots like that one. But we really are asking for something special there in saying that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen realistically. Florio goes for the second, manages to get it. Kurtz was super low health. That was an easy fight to win.
Here we go.
All he needed was any bullet to connect. Hand, foot, leg, didn't matter. Anything would have done it. He's got a clash to go up against. They're just going to play him behind the shield. They'll get it locked down on the ground and then peek around it and find the kill onto him. There you go. Easy as that. There was no way that Lost didn't win that one out. As it was a nice sort of, it was a nice fantasy. It was a nice dream. But no, it wasn't going to happen down into basement, that one. So Lost take round 3, go 2-1 up. And if ENX don't ban Clash, they might just be trolling.
I completely agree. It's been a terror for them across all 3. I mean, okay, first round maybe a little bit less so, but I think across those 3 rounds, that has been the big difference. They need to see it taken away. That goes away. You take away a lot of the strength of Arthur, who's been playing an awful lot of it so far as well. There we go. The Montiel, though we interestingly only saw it in that last round, is also going to follow. So I'm always a bit uncertain in this case when you've already mixed and matched bans a little bit here. You still need things like the Blitz online. We know that some teams have been running things like Fuse as well. They still have shields they can play behind if they want to. Clearly feel more comfortable going off against the Blitz here. Of course, whether or not we'll see them step onto that is a different conversation. But for ENX, I wouldn't be shocked if you do see more shield play coming out of them.
No, absolutely. Just bring the Blitz instead. Like I said, it's not in the lineup at the minute. But over the next 3 rounds, I think, yeah, definitely use that to be an agitator to try and disrupt this defense. ENX don't need to kind of, reinvent Siege here. They just need to come in and disrupt this defense. Just force them out of positions, play the Deimos, play the Ying, play the Grim. Make it very difficult for them to stay in the positions that they want. Take ground, don't rush in headlong. We saw that in round 1. You just get picked off at the beginning. Just get yourselves in, confidently established inside a building. This time we're on gym and bedroom. So what do they want to do? Get jacuzzi wall open, get CCTV wall open straight away. Basics, tick boxes. We're on a tick box map, the tick box map, realistically, with Clubhouse. Just get those 2 walls open, get Logi Hatch open, and then get yourself into CCTV, top red, take cash, move into control. Just slowly take that map control away from the defenders and just force them to move around inside. Once you've got those windows, they'll give you picks and you'll end up winning the round.
I'll say now, one thing I'm slightly nervous of is the amount of hard breach being brought in this round. Like, think back to the days when you basically knew what 3 of the 5 operators that attackers were going to bring to this map was. It was always going to be a Thatcher, and there were going to be 2 hard breaches at the very least. Now, of course, variety has been introduced to those hard breach gadgets. I'm a little bit nervous that the Ace is our main hard breach. Ace fell off the...
What's going on? What is going on here?
Sure, he hasn't gone off and falling off the wall, has he?
Whatever's happened, Des, we're in the first minute and your Carly's downed. I've just said, coming in here, all they need to do is make sure they're ticking the boxes. Don't lose people, take map control, and then displace the defenders. That's all they need to do to win rounds here. And I look up and Carly's down.
I'll report back in 3 minutes when I've seen exactly what the hell just happened there, because I am extremely curious to know what's happened, who's even shot by, as he fell off somewhere. Like, I need to know what happened. We missed it in the moment, but we'll find out, no doubt. But like I was saying, your Ace is your own real hard breach. If you lose Florio early on in this round, you're absolutely screwed. He's managed to use one of the Selmas, but on this site in particular, there's quite a few things you need to be able to chew your way through. Looking towards the CC breach, looking towards Jacuzzi breach, often the VIP wall. That's a lot for 3 Selmas and 2 hard breaches to get done. So I'm a little bit nervous they won't have all the tools to get the job done. Especially not when it's being used on the construction wall. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. ENX not doing badly here. They've got themselves into cash room. If you remember, I spoke about map control. They can now start using those windows. So Sexy Kate can start using the utility from the Grim to force defenders to move, and they should get picked up as they move from the windows. That's the plan. But they need to make sure they're doing that. Bok is going to lose those 20 HP that he was given back. Going to be taken down. That's Shikali gone. Not ideal, because generally I would have expected that to be probably the person playing on the windows looking to pick up those kills. But they can replace it. All is not lost for ENX. What is lost for ENX is a lot of time here, Des. 2 minutes 30, and they've not really started disrupting this defense. The defenders are still in the same positions that they started at the beginning of the round.
It's that measure of botheredness again, Tim, and it's not super bothered right now. Saying that, a nade gets a kill of all things to start things out. Arthur to fall himself down here, bring us back to a 4 versus 4. It's doable for ENX team, but with them still pushing in towards smokes, I'm a little bit nervous for them. The trade coming out, Sexy Kate being caught out at the same time. That pressure starts to build, but they've got to go now. 1 kill to Farius, the second player in the window he didn't know about, and now maybe they can get the plant down. No, simply not enough time to make it happen. ENX can't get it over the line, and Tim, again, I come back to what I said there towards the end. The defenders weren't really bothered until there were 10 seconds on the clock, and that feels like a little bit late to start applying pressure.
It is too late, Des, and I've got the answer on the card. They fell off the roof. So, I don't know. That can't be happening.
Give me time. I'll find out what happened.
No, it is. They fell off the roof. I've just checked it back. Fell off the roof. So, ENX, I'd love you to get the 3 points. It's nothing against loss before you all start shouting, Bias gas. It's not. I just want somebody else in the mix for them playoffs. Loss can't get themselves there. I'd love to see ENX take the points here, get themselves up, put some pressure on Team Liquid, put some pressure on Black Dragons. Big names. Let's have ENX in that fight for those top 6 spots. But they're just not helping themselves at the minute. Yes, Loss are poor on the attack. Yes, they are probably going to have a much more successful second half. I still think 3-3 should be the minimum they should be aiming for here on the attack themselves, because it just then gives them that foundation to think, you know what, 4-2, we don't need to do anything spectacular on defense, and we get this 1-1, we get our full 3 points. They don't want 2 points, they want a full 3. They don't want to go to overtime. And right now, I just feel like they're not doing the basics, and it's a little bit frustrating to watch. You can't be falling off the roof. You can't be giving that kill. Have you just watched it? You can't be, giving that kill away to Kurtz. If you remember on the last, where you've droned him out, you've seen he's at main door, and then you're still just approaching, and you let him step across and spray you down. Like they're making too many mistakes right now, ENX.
I couldn't quite believe you when you said that he managed to fall off the roof, and I was like, how can you fall off the roof there and go down? He's gone onto the ventilation system and then fell off that diagonally to get himself down. That is pretty
it takes
special.
Some effort. That does.
I'm actually very impressed. Don't know how someone's managed to achieve that at this level of play, but here we are. Anyway, a lot of pressure is starting to build up here. As you saw around that main stairs, 2 or 3 players all gathered together. It'll be enough to force back the defenders. Lost just happy saying, okay, then cool. We force a little bit of space here. We can step back now. Fine. I don't mind the way they played the defense so far. However, we're seeing quite a bit of pace being shown out by ENX. That blitz, as I said, might come along at some point, has now arrived in Sexy Cake's hands, and they're starting their march on forward. And almost by himself here, he's forcing back the remaining Lost defenders. Less than half the round gone, and they're already starting to ask questions at this front door. But, Tim, what about the main breach?
Yeah, Sexy Cake's done great work on the blitz there. It's not easy on the blitz to keep your feet covered.
Stop talking, Tim.
Up to that point, Sexy Cake had done some great work. Forced his way into construction, taken 0 damage was my point. It's not always easy to do that on the blitz, but then he's going to be shut down. And again, Los are standing up well to the pressure.
Have we not got main breach?
You asked is very... I was going to say, the question you asked is very, very valid. What has happened with the hard breaches? And this is the problem. Look, they are able, Los, to just stand defending inside of CCTV, and they're taking full advantage of that. They've got angles onto the windows. They've got angles onto construction, which is why Sexy Cake died. And now we open the main breach with a hard breach charge. It's not really enough. It does give you those angles, so they can't play quite as freely in there. But there's only 45 seconds left to go. ENX need to get moving. Los are actually playing them really well at the minute on the defense. I want to give Los the credit here as well, because they're not getting overexcited. They're not getting over-aggressive. They're kind of allowing ENX to make the mistakes.
Yeah, you've had Boxer real late on here rotate over and use one of those hard breach, like the tin openers as we call them on that main breach, which is something, but like you can see here, it's not like the end of the world. I think for the defenders to say that, as they do finally lose Arthur out to that spot, and now we have all the utility starting to rain on through. Plant is going down, but it's a 3 versus 2, and they haven't cleared out all these key positions. Top Red was still in control of the defenders, and Lost just almost really wait for the attackers to lose the round there, I want to say. This
Yeah,
has
that's,
been, questionable.
They've done a great job of that. You know, what's the old saying? Never interrupt your enemy when they're busy making mistakes. And I feel like that loss are actually playing that really well. They're just like, yeah, that's cool, no problem. You know, if you're not going to open the main breach, that's fine. We'll play from CCTV until you do, and we'll get a couple of kills. And they're just using it really well. So from Loss's point of view, I think the opportunity spotting is good. I think, you know, taking advantage of the mistakes that are being made and the opportunities that are being offered, I think has been good. ENX, I'm disappointed. I can't put it any other way. Yeah. I'm disappointed. From a team that needs 3 points, I think there's, you know, they're just not ticking boxes on Clubhouse of all maps. This isn't Nighthaven Labs. This isn't Layer. This isn't something that's big and brand new and, you know, lots of stuff to figure out. This is a map they've been playing for years.
Yeah. I'm always like, I mean, I say always, you're normally the person, and many others would agree with it, is like, yeah, you praise the ones that are winning rather than looking at those that aren't doing so well. But there will always be questions. Yeah, you do always try, granted. But it's hard to be able to do it too much when, Loss are beating what's put before them. What's put before them, though, really, like you say, isn't befitting of a team that knows they need these 3 points to be able to stay competitive. So, we have really got to see ENX shape up here. They get away with 2 rounds off the back of this. Okay. You can forgive that when you go back after this game and look back at the standings and see, okay, they've got 2 points attacking Clubhouse. All right, it is what it is. Maybe you say they should get more from the bottom place team. Fine. As long as they come out and defend well, you can forgive it. But the attacks have left a lot to be desired.
Here we go. This is going to be a good last round for ENX. The Ying is good. I'm manifesting it. I'm manifesting them getting
don't cast the curse it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Manifesting them getting back into this one. Right, they've got, what have we got? We've got Legion up on the catwalk. Gone. Good. Sexy Cake takes him down. They've got the breach open. They've got the angle to prevent him playing there. Don't forget, this is a basement defense, so they are clearing a top floor roam here. This is not pressure straight onto site, but they have made it difficult for Lost to play up there as defenders, but they've lost just up the aggression a little bit and find a good kill again. They always seem to have an answer to this ENX attack, but Nigel managed to take down Legacy. 4 versus 3. The question now, what can ENX do, and will it be enough with the man advantage? They've got plenty of time. They need to make sure they force these 3 final defenders back down to stairs or kill them, back down to basement or kill them, which is going well. 4v2, slow down now.
I mean, the problem is, though, Tim, Outlaw's just so keen on getting into fights here. Now leaves himself down to nothing. He's the last man left alive, and he's inside a garage here. No way! He's on for the ace to clutch up the round for his team. What an outcome this could prove to be. And Florio's got to work his way forward here, too, in this 1 versus 1. He's had a good round by himself, mind you. Tim Florio has opened up a couple of chances for his team, but Outlaw might be able to completely crush that here. 13-2. Could make it 14-2 if he finds this last kill, but there's still a minute to play.
You look at it, you think, you know, would the score still be the same? I don't know. I think it possibly would. I think he's got himself a lot of kills, playing fantastically well. But as I say, I'm not saying he's been fed them, but ENX have certainly given opportunities. Florio does just tease a little bit with that diffuser. He's going to actually stick it this time, is it? Now he manages to shoot out the nitro, but he's locked. This is whoever wins the gunfight. What comes away with the ace? Absolutely beautiful stuff. There was nowhere that the Hibana could go. It was whoever came away with the headshot probably wins that fight. Simple as that. And it's no surprise to see Outlaw 14-2 now. Absolutely flying for loss, but there is still a big question mark in the air, and that is the second half of this game. Loss have not been good on the attack. Let's just have a look at their win percentage on the attack, because they're going to have to do it now.
I said it was like down at the bottom of the table, wasn't it? It's really low.
33%, so not good. But on a 5, honestly, the problem, and this is why I'm so frustrated with ENX, the problem now is that 33% is actually good enough for Lost to win this. So they don't even need to improve on their bad attacks. It's enough. It will get them 2 rounds and they win.
Bad is enough. Is what I'm hearing from you there.
That's the situation now. Bad is enough for Lost.
It is.
To win this and take 3 points.
But what I look at in that last round really is it really summarised a lot of the half. Like Lost, as we said, played the game before them, but that game before them often felt like watching a ranked game where every player was keen to be out of windows, at doorways, being aggressive around parts of the map that, being honest, you wouldn't normally see at this level of play. And I honestly think from Lost, it's a game plan they're taking in, is knowing that ENX aren't the most coordinated, they can disrupt them in the early round, then catch out a couple of players by playing in spots you're not used to, i.e. not letting ENX play PvE for the first 2 minutes of a round. That's where they'd find the win. So it looks like absolute chaos from Lost, but I think actually that more chaotic style favored them really, really well. They probably could have won also by being a bit more sat back, as we saw in the one round that they did lose. But you know what? A 5-1 half, I think you'll take that here. Like you said, they've now got a shot they can do. They've only got to play to their standard. Let's just hope that standard was better than what we saw out of ENX here. And again, for Lost, this game means nothing. They can fight 9Z for who finishes bottom and who finishes second from bottom. It's not really that big a deal, other than a little bit of pride.
I'll say the same for Lost as I said for ENX. They don't need to do anything special here. They just need to do the basics well. They just need to come out and get the right breaches early. Clear the roamers. Don't lose bodies while you're doing so, and give yourself time at the end of the round to have an opportunity to execute. If they do that, I would expect them to pick up at least the 2 rounds that they need to win. But we expected better out of ENX in the first half. I think it's only fair to say that. We didn't expect them falling off roofs and failing to open walls for over 2 minutes. Let's see what we get out of Loss.
Oh, okay. Onwards we charge. And of course, bans, we'll get to that second half. We get the rebans come on through. Same defensive bans coming out, double electrification. On the other side, it's a double shield ban. So naturally, with the Thermite being left to go through, Outlaw is straight onto that operator, because when someone's 14 and 2 Tim, why wouldn't you force them onto Hard Breach? A kid, I'm very sure he's happy playing on the role. Hard Breach, I think historically you'd always look at them and go, oh, only a support player would play them. But as we've seen from a lot of entry players, things like an Ace can also do the job, especially on maps where you require quite a lot of utility in Hard Breach. Use a 3 Salmers, and then you're a free walking gun. You could argue it's the same here for Outlaw. When he's already got these walls opened up, use both exothermics, he is now a free gun to go and do as he pleases.
Running will continue for now. They've got the walls open that they need to start taking control of cash and construction.
Shoot the booty. Shoot the booty.
This is his opportunity, but no. Kurtz walks in and manages to find Angels. Gets himself a second. ENX they've not responded well to this. The Ying is going in. Bok is down. It's 4 versus 2 effectively. Lost come away with the win. Guarantee themselves overtime. Take away at least 1 essential point from ENX. And honestly, the way they've played today, I don't see any ENX taking anything away from this game now. I don't think that Lost are going to lose 5 rounds in a row.
Yes. I struggle to see how ENX fight their whole way back in. They're taking their time out now. Probably would have trusted seeing that more in the first half when they were losing quite a few of their attacks. That would have been the time to squeak out an extra round or 2. But now you're at this 5-round deficit. It is a massive mountain to climb. I know what we said earlier on, or at least what I said earlier on. I've been looking at games that are 5-1 and just thinking, yeah, this game is so done in the next 2 or 3 rounds. And before you know it, you're at overtime. With how that first round played out, I could see Lost getting this one done and dusted here in the next round, unless ENX can really buck their ideas of going into this next round.
It's going to have to be a hell of a tactical timeout, put it that way. It's going to have to be a hell of a tactical timeout here. You can kind of see it on the faces of the players. They already look beaten to me there. They're, very downcast. They know that they needed 3 points out of this one. Let's be honest, 2 points is better than none. So, yeah, still try and get that overtime win. Try and fight your way back into it. Do everything you can. But I don't know what's going on with this team today. We've certainly seen better performances out of them over stage 1. They've got more talent on the team than they're showing us. But it's just not happening.
I reckon.
We all have bad days. We all have bad days. But this is just a really bad time to have a bad day, because you need that win today if you're ENX.
I mean, part of what probably throws it is the map choice, I think, as well. For ENX, Clubhouse is their least preferred map. It's the map they just refuse to play. They will not go to it. Blair is the one that they hate even more, admittedly, but the Clubhouse is down there at the very, very bottom. It's one of their least preferred maps overall. Probably what they had in their mind was that they saw it get played a couple of weeks ago. Lost played against W7M, got battered there, and thought, oh, we can replicate that result. If we take some lessons from W7M, we'll be all good. Problem is, W7M are the best team in the league, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, like, you're not. Therefore, it's always going to be a bit of figuring things out to do. They've come in and just looked very, very lost, and maybe are a bit unprepared for this map compared to what they expect, and that weakness of it not being a map they'd often play. Normally, you'd see it banned away by them. Only when it's banned away by the opposing team first or second do they not see it banned away by themselves. They haven't done the full prep for this. They aren't fully comfortable with it. And they do look at times like a team that hasn't really played the map before. They look like they're coming into it for the first time and almost being surprised by everything that Lost has thrown at them, even on the attack or on the defense.
Like, you're absolutely right in what you're saying, Des. You're absolutely right. But I'm just gonna follow it by saying, but it's Clubhouse. Like, it's
Yeah.
Clubhouse. Like, I get it, and it may be a map that you don't want to play that up, but how many times have we said, you know, as a tier 1 team, you got to have a clubhouse. You got to have a clubhouse because you're going to have to play there at some point. You're in the South America League with some of the best clubhouse teams in the world. W7M, Fury are both fantastic on this map.
Bloody hell, Outlaw.
Absolutely terrible, you know, sorry, terribly good on this map. And so you're going to have to play it at some point, and you've got to be prepared for it. And I tell you who has been prepared for it. Outlaw's been prepared for it.
Oh, mate.
He's just absolutely decimated him. It's his playground, 15-2, and just nothing that ENX can do to stop him.
He just can't be stopped today. Admittedly, the ace definitely helps prop up them stats, but even without that, he's 10-2. Like, he is absolutely flying. But even looking at the last round for Lost, again, the checklist in their minds, we've got double hard breaches. These are the walls that have got to be open. Everyone goes and does their things inside 75 seconds, and then we're focused on the executing, thinking about moving through the map together. We didn't see that same composure from ENS back in the first half. Either way, this one might be about to close out pretty soon. You've got the Ying on side, of course. You've got the Blitz as well. It's Flash City down there, Tim. No one's going to be able to see anything. You'll be able to start a rave with all the strobe lights going off down in that basement soon enough. So for ENX now, it's about holding and hoping, if nothing else, that you can win out this 4 versus 5.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, and this is, you know, I talk so often about disrupting the defence. What do I mean by that? I mean exactly what's going to happen to ENX. You're going to have Grim Bees going. That's going to ping out the defender in that position, meaning they have to move or just get challenged and die. You're going to have flashes coming in. You're going to have a shield running out. You know, there's going to be so many things that make it difficult for them to stay in the position that they want to. And that's going to be the big problem for this defense over the next 30 seconds.
Sure, and the pressure's starting to build now. Of course, all the utility has come out, so now it's about finding kills. 20 seconds to go, and they've found 1, they've found 2. Outlaw is pressing onwards here, already at 16-2. Make it 17-2. He wants a 4th for himself. The Sexy Cake goes down to Kurtz. Unsurprisingly, Loss have absolutely steamrolled their way through. ENX, even though they had nothing to play for, extremely well played. But ENX will be kicking themselves here and thinking, that's a chance of us still making playoffs, now completely gone.